So next up, we have Summer Liu from SocialPeta, and she's going to join us and talk to us about the key role of ad creatives in advertising games and tips on creative optimization. Is Summer with us? Hopefully, yes. Hello, Summer. How are you doing? Oh, just checking. I think we've got a. I haven't got Summer appearing on camera just yet. Hopefully she'll join us. Great stuff. Hi, Summer. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good stuff.
Let me open the camera. Hi.
Of course. Hey, I can see you now. Right then. So tell us all about the role of the creative side of things. So looking forward to seeing what you have to say.
Okay, great. I'm gonna give some tips about our aspect. Hello, everyone. Thanks for attending this sharing. I'm Summer from overseas. I'm Summer, the overseas director from SocialPeta. Our product is a marketing intelligence platform, and the data here I'm sharing is mainly focused on the first half of this year. And my topic is the key role of ad creatives in game advertising and tips on creative optimization. Today, I will share 3 sections, and which include the very first one is we will take a look at the recent creative trends in gaming, especially for user acquisition procedures. According to our platform, SocialPeta, we can see that the active advertiser quantity of global mobile game is around 38,000 in the first half of this year. We can also see that from this bar chart, the average creative quantity for each game grows every year and reaches 543 in this year. Totally, the year-on-year growth is already 110%. So you can see the hit point, the highest one locates on this year, and it's 543, which is quite a big quantity. And also, it's clearly that you can see it's a very fierce competition for gaming, especially in media buy now. So we would like to share some other observations. We can see from the right line chart, which is the yellow curve here. From the perspective of media buying, we think that there are 4 stages. The very first one is A/B test, and the second one is a scale up, and then for the maintenance and also the reactivate. And in the very first test phase, advertisers need to test creatives in various angles to find the good performance for their games or for the combination between the creatives and the target. Then they will need to upgrade those creative ideas with different angles and with better quality and more elements. So we found that they need to prepare about 80 to 100 creatives during the very first phase. Then they come to the scale up stage. That's the time they need to prepare much more creatives due to the creative consumption. And it's said that 570 creatives is a request at this stage. Well, for the late stage for promotion, game publishers acquire players through adjusting targeting and care more about total revenue. So that's the time they intend to cut the spend, and also you can see the creative quantity goes down then. From the chart, we can see that for a single one game, it usually requests over 1,000 creatives to do the whole promotion. And since the creative plays such a crucial role and the competition is very fierce, then it comes to our mind. So how to make a competitive ad creative? We think that the most direct way is to learn from the top players and your competitors to find the popular element among different creatives. You can see here is an example. The three creatives are from Mafia City, State of Survive, and the Rise of Kingdom. They are all strategy games. And what we found a popular element is that they all implement the sense of choice, which will determine the character's destiny. So if you are also intended to make a creative for strategy game, you can try this angle as well. Advertisers will also have to prepare different angles and types of creatives to conduct A/B tests, just like we discussed, with different elements as well. Results can decide the best performance creative, and then the advertisers will use them to do scale up. We also give you a case to show that. So you can see a case on the red column, and this can show the evolution for a bingo game. And for the bingo game, the top one version is combined classical finger interaction. And in the middle, the second version of the creative, it involves live action elements to make it more realistic. And the one on the bottom, which is the last one, and you can see it involves problem-solving plots, which is very popular now, and it makes the creative more attractive. And that's the total, that's a whole faces of different angles for one single product. And you can also see some other trends, like what we also find is plot-oriented creatives have becoming the mainstream for three-match games. And you can see that the classical creatives for three-match games used to focus on the demonstration of gameplay, but with the trend that people already become very familiar with the gameplay and the game content, simply gameplay demonstration cannot attract new users. So now the trend is that many three-match game advertisers attract players by inserting story plans. Take this case, for example. You can see both cases or both creatives above here are first seen on June 29th. And the left one, this video tells a story that a girl inherited her grandma's legacy. And the estimated impression is 2 million and it's been active for 78 days. Well, the red one only demonstrates the home building elements. Well, it's been active for 7 days and estimated impression is 23,000. So the contrast is very big, which will push all the advertisers to think more ideas and to follow the trend. And what we also see is that the live action elements are very popular among mid-core and hardcore games. We knew that, but currently we found the same, we can see that from the bar chart on the left, more and more slots game utility live action elements, which is very unusual, and we can also take it as a new trend. Another trend is we can see many top advertisers apply mini game elements into their creatives. They may be not, those plots may not be the relevant to the real gameplay of the products they are promote, but these creatives usually bring high interactives for viewers. And take the famous card game Hero Wars, for example. You can see the three examples here. The video on the left, it has adopted ring pull puzzle theme. And the middle one, the video applied with plumber puzzle theme. And the last one is combined mission accomplished theme. So we can see not only RPG games, but also strategy and adult games tend to use such themes in creatives. To better explain our point, we selected two we selected 2 cases to demonstrate our points. One case is from a famous strategy game, Lords Mobile. It's developed from IGG, and its total global revenue already exceeds $2 billion now. So Lords Mobile, we can say that is one of the most successful strategy games in revenue worldwide. And we give 3 examples to explain this. Creatives of Lords Mobile are extremely attractive. And we have made a survey by ourselves by showing the hot creatives to potential players. 80% of those players want to try the game just by seeing the creatives. From its hot creatives in SocialPeta, there are 3 classical angles they have used. The very first one on the top one, and it demonstrates the army lining up, which is also the core of strategy. And in the middle one, it demonstrates the character level up. And the third one is the combating angle. Most of these hot creatives have combat elements because it will have the strong interaction stimulus, attracting more players to download this game. And also we have another example, which is Gardenscapes. Gardenscapes is also a successful case, especially in 3-match category. And we can take the change in creatives from the very beginning till now. We can see at the beginning, which start from 2016 to 2018. We can take it as the early phase. Creatives from Gardenscapes are mainly focusing on showing actual gameplay. And since 2019, Gardenscapes inserted various mini-game elements into creatives, which rapidly improve game influence, like the comparison, problem solving. And you can also see that for current creatives, they involve the hot theme, like problem solving. I can see they invented this angle, and also the very popular ring pool puzzle in their creatives. And this kind of theme are widely used by other advertisers. So we can see that Gardenscapes was firstly launched in 2016. Its total revenue now exceeds $3 billion. And Playrix, which is a developer of Gardenscapes, is already one of the most profitable game developers worldwide. So basically, that's the recent trends we can see from the most popular games in different categories. The second section, we want to share some creative tips by seeing some creative cases after analyzing those creative trends. And we will give some examples for casual, strategy, and role-play games. The very first question is how to define hot creatives, especially when we know that hot creatives is crucial. From the observation of SocialPeta, we think there are 3 factors. One is the creative should have longer duration. The second one is it shall have some more or better estimated impression. And the third one is it shall have lower cost. So let's see some cases. The first creative is from Graphics Tycoon. Well, we can see that it's a very classical angle that make a comparison between a novice and a master. The duration is 228 days, which is quite a long time. This kind of comparison will give the viewers desire to take a try, because people will always think that they are the masters, not the amateurs. And let's take a look at the next one. Well, I have to say this creative looks very unusual at the beginning because the very first 3 seconds seems irrelevant with the game, but very attractive. Then the video switched to the gameplay of original game. I think this big contrast gives the viewers strong impressions, so that's why it's been active for 188 days. And let's take a look at this one. Well, this video is from the Grand Mafia, and it's a very typical plot-oriented creatives. And just like we mentioned, it's very popular recently. You can see from the story, the ups and downs plots can make viewers highly immersed and eager to become a ruler like the hero here in this creative. And the next one is from Top Wars. This video combines with the casual and strategy gameplays, starts with the drift of offshore platforms, and then players can upgrade by combining land plates and fight against enemies. So this video can bring a lot of fun to the strategy game and make the viewers attractive to this game. Let's see this one.
Que vous ayez vu les pubs ou juste les mêmes, Raid est le jeu mobile de l'année dont tout le monde parle. Oui, il est sur toutes les lèvres et la communauté de joueurs est énorme, aucun doute là-dessus. Elle connaît le jeu, y joue et ne jure que par lui. Est-ce possible qu'il y ait eu plus de 25 millions d'installations du jeu ou que près de 2 milliards de batailles PVP de joueurs en direct aient été livrées? Il faut vraiment que vous alliez y jeter un œil, donc installez-le maintenant et jouez gratuitement.
We already knew that to brand with QL is a very good way to brand your game. However, we found that video creatives with QL is an increasingly trend in creatives. We think that it should contribute to the popularity of short video apps. Now QL become more influential in some areas, even than celebrities. Meanwhile, they can accept lower corporation price, which make them the ideal choices for marketing team. And this is the next case. It's a very typical Asian Pacific region creative. So let's take a look.
아싸! 드디어 전력이 500만이 됐어! 겨우 500만이잖아. 오버하지 마. 야! 전력 올리는 게 얼마나 어려운지 네가 알아? 엄청 간단하지. 200뽑기가 있잖아. 하루 종일 장비 때문에 게임하지 않아도 돼. 기적의 검은 접속만 하면 200여 뽑기를 증정해. 곧바로 강해질 수 있어. 자동 퀘스트와 자동 전투로 쉽게 전력을 상승시킬 수 있어. 어서 기적의 검을 다운로드해서 즐거움을 느껴봐.
So we see that in this creative combined with live action factors, this is also widely used in role-play games. And according to SocialPeta, live action plot creatives are used frequently in Asia-Pacific regions. It's very popular in this region, and you can see the stories in each videos, really very interesting. So that's the major part for the creative sharing and the creative tips. For the third part, I would like to share some details about our product, SocialPeta, and we will also post the previous videos I share on YouTube within the link. And for this section, I would like to introduce SocialPeta, because SocialPeta is an ad intelligence platform which established 6 years ago. Now we have accumulated over 1 billion creatives on 70 ad channels, like global channels, say Facebook, TikTok. We also have China, Japan, Korea local networks. This will give a more bigger picture for marketing and the UA team. Meanwhile, except the ad creatives, we also cover cost and audience and also app intelligence to help user acquisition and user growth. Based on one of the clients of SocialPeta, Soha Game, they give us the feedback that after using SocialPeta, it can decrease their CPI by 15% and cut CPM by 20%. If you are interested with our product, please contact us and schedule a demo with us. So thank you all for listening. Bye.
Thank you very much. That was fantastic. I love the fact that you're talking about the way that the creators are evolving in terms of their kind of structure. And I think one of the things that I think has always been part of getting great ad creative has been to tell a story in some way. For me, I remember in my training, I am a trained marketeer, even I ended up being a game designer. The key thing for me was awareness, interest, desire, action. And to look at kind of even in an ad or across multiple ads, to think about how you're taking the player on a journey to communicate your message. And I think, I mean, are you seeing, how widely are you seeing people understanding that application of the emotional conversation with the player? We use some examples like the level up, level 5, level 30, do you want to beat them up or release them? Those kind of like immersing the player in the story of the ad. Is that something that you're seeing happen widespread, or is it just the best examples?
Well, I think for the top publishers, they realized it's the key to, just like you mentioned, make the viewers get the true feelings or understanding of your games through the videos. It's commonly seen for the top advertisers and top publishers, and we found it's more clearly more obvious in Chinese top advertisers. They will just seek out all their minds or methods to make their videos or their creatives more trustworthy and more attractive, and then to attract the players. And you can see we selected the publishers worldwide, like the Lost Mobile, which is from a Chinese publisher, as long as we have the Gardenscapes from Playrix. It's from a very famous Russia developers. So you can see it's a common phenomenon. Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, one of the things I think you mentioned there is really important is the trust part. Getting the player to trust, and I think that's one of the key sort of difficulties and one of the risks of people taking this path without taking care, because in my mind, what you're selling is the promise of the game. You're establishing the emotional reasons to play. So. And the difference between a taking player on a journey rather than a bait and switch, which is a term often used where you present something and what the game is different. The difference between those two is whether your advert is true to the emotion of the game, whether or not it's true to the game mechanics. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Well, you asked a very good question. Based on our observation, you definitely need to put the actual parts of your game into your creatives. You can't cheat completely for the viewers. Meanwhile, on this basement, you can do something to exaggerate the emotions or to exaggerate the interesting parts, because that's what the creative do. That's what the advertising can do. They need to like acquire users. So you need to find the compromise between like the real emotion, real gameplay, and the more exaggeration parts.
No, exactly. And I mean, for me personally, I don't particularly like playable ads.
Oh,
I know that's me. I understand why they work and I see why that engagement's useful. But when I'm playing a different game, I don't want to play someone else's game. I want to play the game I chose to play. But that's me. But I think regardless of that, the same principle applies, whether you're doing an interactive experience or whether you're doing a more passive ad view. Being able to create this reason to act, I think, is a really key thing. And it's actually something that we talk about in marketing, but I don't think a lot of people talk about here, is that it's not good enough to tell me that you've got a great game or that it's going to be valuable. You've got to give me a reason, a fear of missing out on it. You've got to create that water cooler moment. Oh, look how awesome that was. I think this is one of the reasons why those games which show you at the end how you know instinctively how to fix it, like a lot of the ring pull type examples you show often end with a failure. And I think one of the reasons why that's so clever is because I know what I would have done to fix it.
Yes,
so you're
right.
Do you know what I mean? It's like that emotional.
Yeah, I get you.
And it's that frustration with the idiot who hasn't done it, and we know it's deliberate. But, oh my God, you just had to pull that one.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good example. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Sorry. I guess I interrupted you clearly. Yeah, you are just saying a very typical like angle, and I also mentioned in my presentation. You are just expressing how they think, how the viewers thinking when they take the creatives. They just thought that I must perform better than the idiots, and then they just eager to download the application, to download the game, and want to prove themselves. Yeah.
So I think at the heart, I'm paraphrasing what I've taken from your talk, which I thought was great, by the way, is that we've got to think more about the journey of the viewer of the ad, and think more about what's going to trigger their moving from just simply, well, why would they keep watching the ad? Because they know it's an ad. A lot of people will instinctively walk away. Well, how do we keep their attention? And once we've got their attention, how do we stimulate them for the next second? I think we've got to really think about every second of that advert in a way that filters who's watching it, so that the people who are going to be the ones to play the game, who are going to want to play the game, are clearly identifying themselves because they're still watching, but also that they've got a reason to act. And I think, if we can think about those techniques, whatever form our ads take, that's going to deliver a more creative response. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely makes sense. You just telling the truth or the basement for each, not only the UA manager, but also like the producer or the head of any game studio. That's the core part. The core part of say a game. Meanwhile, I would like to share some more observations. Sometimes the studios may take the method the other way around. Say they might have different projects they want to start, and they can test whether how much the chance the studio or the project can survive. They will just run some creatives on campaigns to do some test with small budget for like multi projects, and they will observe the cost. Say maybe it's just one gameplay with different styles, with different animations, and they can choose if among which the better advertising performance they think they might have the better chance to survive, then they start to develop the true like project. So in this way,
Don't tell them that. That's my technique. You're not supposed to tell everybody that.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding, but you're absolutely right. I think this is one of the things that I think is really important for people to take away is that why spend tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars making a game when you don't yet know if there's an audience for it? So why aren't we making more trailers before we make the game and optimizing the trailer from the point of view of art style, of engagement, of interest, understand the audience better, so that we make the game that the audience actually are going to want to click on that ad.
Yes, you're right. You're right. That's what I want to say. Yeah.
Right. Well, on that note, Summer, thank you so much for that. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that myself. I hope other people did as much as I did. And I think this whole principle about being smart about the creative and telling the, selling the promise. We shouldn't be afraid of selling the promise of the game.